Little video update here. It's been a while. I made a video about these IBC tote cages, and they've worked out really great. So I can move almost a third of a cord with the tractor, which I use for dozens of reasons anyway, and have forks on it for many reasons too. So it combines on that, and I can move all these a third of a cord in each to our place. It saves me a whole stacking. I think I have a video about that. This is another little experiment with the, I bought 12 of these and they came with the plastic containers, which I didn't really need. I wanted the cages, but I figured they'd be good for compost storage, which I think they could be, but not the way we did it. It was a serious drought year, but even if it wasn't, I think the compost would have gotten too dry. My goal was to not have a pile of compost that's just getting overrun by the weeds constantly. I want to store years worth of compost at a time, and I don't want it overtaken with weeds and getting weed seed especially. So I figured let's put like 6 yards in a bunch of these. They're really heavy. They're twice as heavy pretty much as this same volume filled with wood, by the way. So my tractor barely lifts it up. What I need to do is cut the tops off the whole thing, which I did on a few of them over there and grew squash out of it. Nice combination. Grow squash for a bunch of years in them, I think, while still kind of conserving your compost for future use. So now I do need to cut the top out and let this soil moisten up, because it's actually gotten kind of moist from the winter, but it got way too dry this summer, and hydrophobic compost is pretty much useless and very difficult to get hydrated again. And it probably messes with the chemistry and biology. Well, surely with the biology quite heavily. Now, cutting this out is not going to be so nice, because a jigsaw cuts this really well, but it leaves tons of little tiny pieces. I do it on a slab and vacuum up the plastic. If I did that now, I'd end up with a lot of tiny pieces of plastic in my compost, which I don't want. They're finding that plastic can go into plants and with like a vegetable row cover. So we're kind of all eating plastic, which isn't really what I want to do. So it's okay. So yeah, I might have to use like a butane propane torch and like an old knife and just cut it out. But otherwise I think they'll work. In a real drought year, even fully open is not enough water, and I put 3 to 5 drip emitters on some of them, and it still didn't keep it hydrated enough. This greenhouse is going great, by the way. I want to build 2 more. This was like a few $100. I might do one that might be like 600 or 700 and do it all with polycarb, double wall, maybe triple wall. It won't be as good for summer production, but it'll be better for everything else. It gets still really cold in there at night. The delta T between inside and out is 2 degrees on a cold night. So it's still great for starting a garden, which we pretty much need to do ASAP here for some of our alliums. Yeah, but we've had some almost 0 degree nights lately in mid-March, which is really slowing us up a little bit. But we've overwintered chard. Oh, it's probably 80 degrees in here. And spinach. Got a little lazy, and some of the cilantro died back and arugula died back because I forgot to cover it. We had some nice sun, and I peeled the remay back and kind of was a little late on covering it. But it's going to come back. In another few weeks, we'll be in business with cilantro, arugula, for sure chard, and we're eating spinach now, which is awesome because it's mid-March, and we're 8 weeks ahead if you can overwinter greens versus starting from scratch. At least 2 months more, extending the year of green eating. At least 2 months. So overwintering's great. It doesn't really grow in the winter here. It's too dark. People try still, but you'd have to light up and heat your greenhouses. Not a good trade when you can just do root cellars and squash closets for food storage. This is 2.5 ounce row cover, and I do 2 to 3 layers, because the ground even still the ground below this remay freezes in this climate. So these I welded up and bent, and they basically are our shelves, which we're about to put down right now. I'm talking to a video, making a little video. And so I put these on the path for the summer when I grow peppers and tomatoes in here, because you can't really do them outside so well here. And then they go up here and form a shelf, and one's over by the house. So then the most important function of this greenhouse is starting our garden 8 weeks ahead of what we could do otherwise. And I'll do maybe an update on that. That's a cool process. What I found works great for heating this. That's what these cables or extension cords are here from. Is it says it's 90 degrees in here, but that's wrong. These things are totally inaccurate. Sometimes highly inaccurate. Sometimes they're kind of right, but they're not reliably accurate. I found a decent one, it seems, from forestry suppliers, by the way, for $30. It seems better. Still don't trust it fully. I'd like to have an analog to go with it. But anyway, put these shelves up, and then I just do heat mats on top of polystyrene, like blue board, pink board, foam, shelf, foam, germination mats. They're like, some of this stuff with the foil facing's great. I had just scrap, and then there's germination mats right there. And then I have, you might see the holes. I don't know. I think we're on the opposite side of this. But basically, I drilled little holes in the shelf, and I did little mini field hoops, quick hoops, they call them, like you'd see in a market garden outside, but just a mini version. Put remnants of row cover over it, so made like just a mini field tunnel in here, 1 or 2 layers, turn those on, and I can keep it at 45, 50 even when it's 0 degrees. So we can survive the cold snaps for 150 watts for 8 hours a night here and there. So maybe there's 5 nights of that depending on the year. So that's really great, because otherwise people are trying to heat all this volume, which is a total waste when like Amory Lovin said when he was in Japan talking to building engineers 20 years ago now. He was talking about cooling buildings, and someone told him, why we don't cool buildings, we cool the occupants. Why do the buildings need to be cool? And they had like task fanning and task cooling. Kind of a cool perspective, obviously. What's that? What do we call that? Parsley. That's cilantro. There is some parsley though. Parsley's super hardy, and there's some under here. That stuff will come back really good. Oh wow, we managed to survive some lettuce. Our higher performance glass greenhouse on the original site can totally survive lettuce, and it's full of lettuce now, but lettuce is not as hardy as parsley, chard, arugula, spinach. This is, by the way, one of the only times a year we really successfully eat a lot of spinach. It bolts real quick. Even the stuff they say is not supposed to bolt much. I don't find I really like it in the summer, or really just tend to have much of it. But this time of year, for sure, it shines. Yeah, that's just basically the update I wanted to give you guys. There's a lot more going on too. I got a sawmill. I've been doing some milling. Make some future videos about that. But yeah, on a late winter, the food is storing really well. I'll put some stills in of that. We still have 2 more delicatas left. We just pretty much stopped eating our delicata squash. And that's the latest ever. Stored between about 38 and 50 degrees in our squash allium closet. So that's been nice. We cured it pretty well, I think, is what ended up happening. And maybe the soil nutrients helped. I'm not sure. Anyway, hope everyone's well there. I actually just got back from 2 weeks in Mexico, and it was totally awesome. People were living normal lives. Kind of strange and incredible to see and experience. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well in these crazy times. See how much longer they keep it so crazy. But here's those quick hoops. Yeah, anyway, if you can get away and get out of the madness for a little while, I highly recommend it. Like, normal lives of people being social and hanging out with each other is is better than I remembered, like many, many times better. It's so good. We really went for our son because it's not safe to be socially isolated, despite all of the rhetoric about safety. And man, it was just incredible. Such warm people too, where we were, like the most I've ever experienced. So it was beautiful. So I'm still kind of reeling from that, and I'm happy to be back. I love Vermont, but culturally, we're fucked. And that's just is what it is at this time of this period of history. That'll change at some point. Some places haven't cannibalized themselves quite as hard as we have in the first world. But it is what it is. Hope everyone's all right. We'll talk.